Hi, my name's Amanda. I'm a coach and a channel, and welcome to a brand new series called The Invitation. Every single week, Spirit and I invite you into an experience with us to question a belief that you might be carrying. Our belief systems create our reality, and the only way to shift our world around us is by coming to terms with what we believe about who we are. And when we can be open to questioning our beliefs, really getting curious with how much validity there really is there, it opens us up to seeing things completely differently, shifting our awareness, shifting how we feel about ourselves, how we feel inside of ourselves, the paths and avenues that we may not have seen before, and maybe opens us up to feeling confident to take new action where we may have held back from doing before. And very slowly, one step at a time, your entire experience of yourself and your world completely changes. And it all starts with what you believe. And today we're going to be looking at the belief system that you can't feel differently until something in your life changes. So, for example, you can't feel completely satisfied inside of who you are until you accomplish something significant. Or you can't fully respect who you are until you make a certain income or can support yourself financially independently or support your family financially. Or maybe you can't feel fully at peace until you find your partner. Or maybe you can't fully love how you look until something about your body or your appearance changes. So this can look in an infinite amount of ways. And I really want to see what Spirit wants to share with us about this because it can show up differently for each and every single one of us. But at some point in time, we have all held the belief system that I just can't feel differently until something changes. So, first, I want to explore what they have to say about that, how true that is, and what happens if we begin to see things differently, and really just go from there and allow them to explore this with us. Okay, if this is your first time here, the way this works for me as a channel is I close my eyes, I tune into spirit, and I just share whatever it is that comes to me. So just give me a second. We'll see what they have to say today. They're saying that we come into this world almost like a blank slate in terms of what we believe. Because as infants, we don't hold belief systems about the world. Our belief systems are created through our life experiences by observing the people around us and by interpreting their energy and their experiences or picking up on their belief systems and taking them on as our own. We only come in with one idea, which is to be the desire to just exist. And from there, they're showing like painting a canvas, how you paint layer upon layer upon layer on top of that. And so based on that one specific, almost like identity to be, I am, we layer on top of that belief systems, and those layered belief systems shade and cloud and color how we feel about who we are, how we see ourselves. They help formulate our identity beyond I am, taking us further away from I am and towards something a little bit more unique to how we feel. And then it also colors how we see the world, what we believe is possible for us, what we're capable of, the action that we take, how we interact with people, what information we choose to take in and filter, and what information we choose to ignore and resist. And it just completely affects our entire experience of this reality that we're coming into. And they're saying that that's the point. We don't come in here necessarily to experience I am. You're experiencing I am through it all, but you're experiencing different layers of I am that are essentially who you come to be in the process. And they're saying that the only reason why this exercise of questioning your beliefs becomes important is when you don't want to feel how you're feeling. If you're recognizing that how you're feeling is not how you want to be feeling, then that's when questioning what beliefs are creating those feelings becomes important. And that's where exercises like this become integral to changing your experience of how you feel, because they're saying that it's very difficult to do so otherwise. The only way to change how you're feeling is to choose to see things differently. And that's what they want to talk about today, is because we tend to believe that the only way we can feel differently is if something in our external reality changes. Once that changes, once I can get the thing, once I can change that one specific thing, or achieve this thing, or manipulate this thing, or access this thing, then I'll feel differently. And they're saying that becomes an illusion that we are forever chasing. Because if you're always believing that that thing has to change before you can feel differently, then you're always going to go looking for the next thing to change before you can feel differently, always wondering, well, why don't I feel differently yet? Or why doesn't that different feeling last? It's because you're operating from the belief system that something has to change before you can feel differently. And you're constantly projecting that belief onto the people, places, and things around you, and onto who you believe that you are, that you can't feel differently because of who you are, that something about you has to change. And so they're saying that you can't actually create a different feeling when you're operating from that belief system. It just is in contradiction to the very belief system itself. And they also want you to question the notion that you can't feel differently, despite something changes, despite something changing. They really want you to begin to play with this, because the only way to really see if that's true is to experiment. Can I shift how I feel when nothing in my vicinity or my circumstances or my surroundings changes? And it's really important to begin questioning these belief systems by finding evidence of the opposite. That's what's required. And that is how you're going to begin to really see just how much your belief systems, how much weight they bear, how much merit there is if you're willing to test it. Can I feel differently? And they're saying that in order to be able to test it, you really have to be willing to feel differently. Because if you're testing it out of spite, then it's not going to work. You really have to be willing to choose a different experience. And they're saying that the best way to go about this is to begin to identify what perspective you're holding and see if you can see it in a different way. So, picking the belief system, if there's one belief system that stands out to you, if there's something in your, okay, they're saying if there's something in your life that you're noticing, it doesn't feel good, it's feeling frustrating, challenging, you want it to change, ask yourself, does this circumstance really actually have to change? Or is there something that I'm not seeing, or an awareness that I've been avoiding, that if I if I allow myself to consider it, does it change how I see it? Does this circumstance not feel as heavy anymore? Even if it's just a little bit, that is an indication that your perspective is the thing that's capable of changing your experience, not the circumstances itself. Okay, is there anything else you would like to say about this? They're saying that many of us are not willing to challenge the belief that something outside of us doesn't have to change. And that is ultimately why we are not able to, is that we don't want to let go of the need for change. We want the change to happen because we so desperately believe it has to happen. And so we don't want to walk away from it because we believe that the circumstance that we're wanting to change is our only ticket to feeling differently. And if we were to let go of the need for that change to happen, whatever idea you have in your mind of the thing that's going to rescue you and save you and change things for you, if you were to let go of that, it's like letting the dream of a better future die, letting the dream of a different version of you, a better version of you, die. And they're saying that's what they want you to see today is the belief system that you can't feel differently inside of who you are now. And you're not willing to believe that that's true because you don't believe that who you are now is capable of already being that version of you. It's not the circumstance that you're chasing, it's how you're going to experience yourself inside of it. And you're believing that you can only experience yourself in that way inside of that situation. And that is the ultimate, they're saying the ultimate like dilemma is that you're not willing to see that differently, that you're not already that person. And it's your perception of you that they're saying, oh, wow. Oh, they're saying it's your perception of you that has to change, not your perception of the circumstances. And that is the ultimate key for today, is that we don't inherently believe that we can feel differently about who we are. And that is the perception that needs to change, is that beginning to see ourselves differently, not the situation. When you can begin to see yourself in a new light, you realize that the scenario, the outcome, the situation, the circumstance doesn't have to change. It can, but it doesn't have to. There's no longer a need for it coming from the same place of desperation because you realize that your idea about you, your belief system about you, is all that's needed. And when you can see you differently, when you can feel differently about who you are and inside of you, then nothing outside of you matters at all. And you come back to the I am energy. That's so brilliant. They're saying that's how you find your way back. It's by stripping away all of the belief systems that you've piled on, that you've caked on top of the I am energy, stripping them away. This, I don't believe this anymore about me. This no longer holds weight. I don't see this anymore as being true. And the more you strip that away, what's underneath that is just I am, just pure unconditional love and potential and openness and infinity everything, like infinity beingness, presence. You are beyond any one belief system. They all both hold weight and don't at the same time, depending on how you're choosing to see yourself in that moment. And it is only up to you to desire to have that experience of yourself that is also ultimately going to change your experience of yourself. And unless you're willing to do the work, which is simply just identifying what you believe, questioning those beliefs, and finding truth of the opposite, then your experience of yourself will never change, regardless of your circumstances. And you have to be willing to believe that that's true in order to be willing to see it for yourself. Is there anything else you'd like to say about that? They're saying no, they're complete. Is there anything else I would like to add to that? If this is work that you would like to explore, if you're noticing that you are carrying belief systems about your circumstances that are keeping you stuck inside of a feeling or energy that or interpretation of yourself that doesn't feel good, that's what I do. An intuitive life coach. I sit down with clients and we explore an area of your life where you're feeling stuck, blocked, challenged, frustrated, and we explore why. What are you holding on to? Why are you How are you unintentionally and unconsciously creating this situation and what's needed for you to break free from it? And I guide you through it as a coach, and I do it from a very intuitive place. So I'm just like I'm channeling right now. The whole session is me coaching you from a channeled perspective. So I'm taking into consideration your current human reality, and I'm also taking into consideration the multidimensionality of who you are, and perhaps a belief system is stemming from you, but it's tying you to energy that's beyond you, and you're just ready to let that go. And the session unfolds gradually and naturally according to your highest and best. So if that's work that you're looking to do and you're not sure who to turn to for help with that, I'm here. And you can email me at amandalaurenblau@gmail.com, and you can find my email address linked in my YouTube bio. I hope you enjoyed this very first episode of The Invitation. I'm so excited about this new series. I truly believe in this concept. I've witnessed it in myself, I've witnessed it in my clients, and it's been completely life-changing for me. I can't wait to hear your feedback about this. Leave a comment below, like and subscribe to this channel if you're interested in more of this. And I'll see you next week. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.